December 2020. Two friends from Iowa were out drinking, having a good time, and all of a sudden, a fight broke out. One of them got ran over repeatedly. This is a story of Caleb Solberg. Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to Kelli's Coffee and Crime Chat. This is Kelli, and oh my gosh, it is Friday. Besides Saturday, it's my favorite day of the week. At this time on Friday, it's my favorite day of the week. It is July 14th. We're halfway through July already. Wow. It's going to be August before you know it. I am drinking Java Mama red, white, and blue, and oh my gosh, it is so good. White chocolate with red and blueberries, so it's berry chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's really got that good chocolate flavor. Java Mama is air roasted, so you taste the whole bean and not the roaster. It is also clean and green and better for your gut. We also have really good teas, loose leaf tea, and I mean, it's just, this tea isn't just ground tea, like it's fruit pieces and just all kinds of things in their teas. So if you're a tea lover, we have iced and hot tea. And I think you can probably even drink any of the hot tea as iced. And we also have iced coffee. I will leave the link in the show notes if anybody out there is interested in looking around and maybe finding something for a gift for somebody or something to try yourself. We also have sample packs on there as well. The story I have today is one that I never heard about. It is fairly recent. When I went out there looking for something to cover for this week, this one popped up, and the headline is what really got me. So I am looking for suggestions because I'm really trying to find something to talk about that is in the Midwest, right around the Midwest, in the surrounding area, more central. This is the story of Caleb Solberg, and this takes place in western Iowa. Caleb was born September 6, 1990. Now, my sources are the Des Moines Register, dailymail.co.uk, and legacy.com. He was born September 6, 1990. So he was 30 when this took place. This happened at the end of 2020. His parents are Scott and Connie, and he worked for John Deere in Onawa, Iowa, if I'm saying that right, Onawa. And that's where John Deere originated. I actually took a trip there once to Bettendorf, Iowa, and I saw the mansion where the owners who started John Deere lived. And oh my gosh, there's so much history there. There is so much history. Caleb also worked for Well Company with his brother Craig Pryor. He is a half brother. And diesel repair. He did diesel repair with his brother, and then he worked currently for, now I hope I'm saying this right, Ute Tire Company, town called UTE. Ute, that's how I'm saying it. In Ute, Iowa. He loved dirt bikes, guns, driving fast, and junkyard shopping. That part sounds like my husband. And anything to do with a motor, or anything with a motor. He volunteered on the Moorhead Fire and Rescue. He had a son, and he just loved his dog. He had 4 sisters and 1 brother, and the one brother is Craig Pryor. Sounds to me like he's a really cool dude. Like I said, I'll get on here. Okay, gotta get my notes right. So I wanted to give a little bit of a history. I don't know how close he was with his friend. He had a friend, Christopher. Last name is Erlbacher. Erlbacher, and Christopher was 29. Christopher was from Woodbine, and Caleb was from Moorhead, Iowa. Now, like I said, I don't know how close of friends they were. I never found out, but Caleb was 30, and he was out with his friend Christopher, and this was December 17th of 2020. They were at a bar, and they had been drinking earlier that, I'm not sure exactly how early it was in the day, but this is in Harrison County, and they were at a bar drinking with a third person, Sean Johnson. Something happened. I don't know what it was that took place before this incident, but Christopher smeared mayonnaise on Caleb's food when they were drinking. They ordered food. Christopher put mayonnaise on Caleb's food. I take it Caleb did not want that because he punched him. I don't know what was on his plate first before he put the mayonnaise on it, but he punched him, and Christopher and Sean left. Sean Johnson was the third person. Now, they went toward, there's a cafe there named Dave's Old Home, which I thought was a very cool name. And I'm guessing it's open really late. I don't know if I'm sure it's probably not a 24-hour place, but from the outside, it looks like a nice, cozy little place. I'll have a picture up on my Instagram. And just like a little down-home cafe is what it looks like from the outside. Well, they went there, and now this Dave's Old Home is in, I don't know how to say this town. It's about 10 minutes away in Pisgah, if I'm saying that right, Pisgah. And on the way, Chris called Craig Pryor, who was Caleb's half-brother, and he told Craig Pryor he was going to shoot Caleb, and he was going to burn down his house. Now, burn down his house, I think they meant Craig's house. I'm not for sure, because I heard that he threatened Craig, and then another source said that he was going to burn down his house. Why this happened doesn't make sense. They got in a fight over mayonnaise, and Caleb punched him, so Christopher was wanting revenge. I don't know. To me, this sounds like there had to be an underlying reason, or a fight, or an argument they were having before this happened. This didn't make any sense to me. And I know alcohol was involved. I have been drunk, but I've never punched my friend. I've never put something they don't like on their food. I've just never done this. I don't know if he was joking. It may have been a joke and the other guy didn't like it, Now, when he told Craig Pryor this, Craig went to Dave's Old Home cafe to calm down the situation. So he showed up, ended up in Sean Johnson, the third person, met Craig outside the cafe and told him about Christopher's anger. And he was inside the cafe, and he was telling him about, warning him about how mad he was. Well, by then, Caleb arrived to talk to Craig, and they were inside Craig's truck. So he was inside, Caleb was inside the truck with his brother, in his brother's truck. At the cafe at Dave's Old Home. This is my notes here. They're like all over the place. So I've got arrows, what to say first, and how to put this in order so that you know what happened. It got to be around 10 o'clock, and Christopher told the onlookers, there must have been people standing outside. I don't know if they may have been outside smoking. I'm not sure. But he told them, I'll take care of this. Well, when he said that, he got into a fight with Craig. Christopher left shortly after this. Now, this is Craig Pryor. He rammed into Craig's truck with Craig in it. At this point, I'm not sure where Caleb was. I don't know if I don't know exactly where Caleb was at this time. I read that Craig got out to check the damage after Christopher rammed into his truck. And then after that, he went after Caleb. Caleb must have been outside Caleb, I think, got out of Craig's truck when Christopher went to ram the truck. And then, after this happened, Christopher started toward Caleb. And that's when people outside ran in and told the bartender to call 911. So, he ran down Caleb, ran over him. Then he drove down the road, came back, and ran over him again. Caleb was screaming for his brother during this time. He left again, came back as Caleb was screaming, ran him over a third time. I read that he wanted to make sure that Caleb was dead. After this, he left and started to drive out of town, but his truck started leaking fluids and it broke down. He had to call his dad because he called his dad after the truck broke down. Then he called Craig Pryor saying that he killed his brother. Then he said, this is a quote, "We won't have to worry about his mouth anymore. I would have gotten you too, but I kind of like your kids." That's a quote. That's what he said to Craig Pryor. My mouth dropped. My mouth dropped when I read that. Wow. So Chris's father took him back to the scene at where he ran over Caleb, at right around where the cafe was. I'm not sure exactly if it happened in the parking lot or happened in the road. And then that's when Chris was arrested. Now, he pled not guilty to this. Said he didn't mean to kill Caleb. Now, wait a minute. He ran him over 3 times. He ran him over a third time to make sure he was dead, according to when I read about the trial. It was a bench trial. And he tried to plead not guilty because he said he was intoxicated. But being intoxicated is a defense only when it causes a mental disability and makes someone incapable of forming specific intent. They said that he knew what he was doing. You know, like I said before, I've been out drunk. Yeah, I got mad. Yeah, I mean, my husband would probably get in a little argument or something, or very, very rare does that happen. But I would never take these measures after something happened over mayonnaise being put on this guy's food. You know, I mean, I understand maybe it started out as a prank. I don't know. And then when Caleb punched him, then he wanted to get back at him. It almost sounds to me, and I hate to, say my own opinion, but it's my show, but I was reading this, and it sounds to me like it's a type of abusive friendship that you have with somebody, because you can have an abusive friendship just like you can an abusive relationship. But the abusive friendship is easier to get away from. You just stop talking to the person. And some people, like in my history of friends, I can only take certain people in small doses. And after a while, after you hang around them so much, it gets to where you can't take them anymore. And I don't know if something was bothering one of them and about the other one, and it just came to a head. Like maybe, I don't know, if let's say one person was always pranking the other one or always doing something to the other one, and the other one said, okay, that's it, and then you're drinking and then you just punch, I don't know. It just sounds like something like that happened. So it's easy just to stop hanging around the person, especially if you're in an abusive friendship or you have a friendship where one person uses you as a punching bag. And I don't mean punching bag as physical punch, but there are people out there that will use friends as punching bags. Somebody they want to complain to and poke and poke and poke until they just blow up. And, oh my gosh, but Christopher got life in prison for this. He was 29 years old. 29 years old. And life in prison because of this fight, running over him 3 times. So sad. But I had to talk about that because I know people who stay friends with people when they should have stopped hanging around that person way before they did. And I don't know how good of friends they were, you know. I mean, you can be great friends with somebody and still have that underlying, like, that feeling where, my gosh, I can't hang around her anymore. And then she wants to hang around again. You're like, oh, okay, I'll give her another chance. Or him. You know, I'll give him another chance. You know, we'll go to have lunch or something. Yeah, whatever it is. And, oh my gosh. And then something happens again. And then it just, you know, so I'm the type of person that can be nice to somebody for so long and then I blow up. And then that's where, you know, I end up telling them just like it is because I don't like to keep things inside and it shouldn't be kept inside. So anyway, that's the story of Caleb Solberg. My heart goes out to his family, his friends, his son. Such a sad, tragic story this was. And just horrible. But that's my story for this coffee break. And what's new on Netflix? I watched the current season of Black Mirror. If anybody's out there seen that, I'd like to know what you think about it. Certain episodes I liked. There was one I really didn't care for. They were all pretty good. One I really liked. It was about true crime. Awesome, awesome episode. And then one was like, give me a break. I cannot stand this. And I think if anybody that's seen the season will know what I'm talking about. Some were funny. The first one was very funny, I thought. And the third one, actually Josh Hartnett, I was surprised to see him. And the guy from Breaking Bad, I always forget his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. I cannot think of it. But he plays Jesse on Breaking Bad. That one I thought was boring, but a lot of people liked it, said they thought it was very good. Maybe I can watch it a second time and see what I think. But all in all, it was a good season. I think bypassed the last couple seasons of Black Mirror. If anybody has not heard of Black Mirror, it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but it's way out there, and it's a lot. It seems like every episode uses technology in a way, which is actually pretty cool. So, trying to think of what else I watched. I watched another movie on Netflix called The Outlaws. Instead of The In-Laws, it's The Outlaws. It's Pierce Brosnan, and I cannot remember the guy's name. He's in these weird, funny, real funny movies. Dave and Mike Need Wedding Dates? And he was in a movie called Jexy. Jexy was kind of like Surrey. I cannot think of his name, but he's in it. Now, there's parts in this that are really dumb, and then there's other parts that are really funny. So it's back and forth. I mean, Pierce Brosnan, I couldn't believe he was in this, and there's this one line about James Bond in it that I thought was so good. But this guy from Jexy and Dave and Mike's Need Wedding Dates, he is getting ready to get married, and he meets his wife's parents. And his parents are total opposite. His parents remind me of like my mom. They're like way, way not with it. Actually, they're probably a little bit more reserved than my mom, but they're just not, I don't know. They're not cool parents, put it that way. And then her parents are the outlaws, like bank robbers and all that. So, but without giving anything away, I'm not going to talk about it. But if you're just looking for something to watch and laugh at one night, and there's nothing on, give it a try. And if anybody's seen it, I like to know what you think. But it wasn't bad for, just to sit and watch a movie. And it seemed like I saw something after that, but the Whitney Houston biography, I forgot that was on there. I Want to Dance with Somebody. I loved it. I love her voice anyway, and the girl that played her, I don't think the girl really looked like her, but man, she could act. And I could even tell when she wasn't really singing. They used Whitney Houston's voice. But when she was acting like her singing, she did her mouth exactly like Whitney Houston does. Because I've seen Whitney Houston sing so many times. I just love her voice. And the girl that played her did awesome. I think all the acting in it was very good. The girl that played her mother was awesome. The one that played her girlfriend was great. Even the guy that played Bobby Brown. It's like they did really good on trying to get these people to look like the real people. I don't think the main girl looked like Whitney Houston, though. I don't think she did, but she did sing, moved her mouth and everything just like Whitney does. So that is recommended, and I love biographies anyway, and man, that was a good one. I mean, I could sit and watch that again. It was so good. So that is my updates on Netflix. I haven't watched anything on Paramount Plus or Max in a while, unless I just watch a movie that I've already seen. Like I watched both Horrible Bosses one night because I hadn't seen them in a while. And I actually like the second one better. But so I watched that, and not really much else. I've been crafting, haven't really had much time, been working, haven't had much time for much TV. But I thought I would give that little update on Netflix. Okay, I don't think there's much else. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Middle of July, stay cool. It is horribly hot in central Illinois, up toward 90, and I'm not used to that, so got the air cranked up. So everybody stay cool, stay hydrated, and I will see you next time.